Hello everyone. It's been a really long time since my last YouTube video, so I'm back here with another interesting topic. Without further delay, I would like to go directly into what I'm going to speak about. Okay, so this time I wanted to speak on a film or a series of films, you can say. The Nun, The Conjuring, I'm sure it's pretty interesting, and The Annabelle, the whole series that almost all of us have watched once or more than once. So, as I was thinking about these films, I realized that somehow or the other, all these concepts, the words that we've heard here, are related to what we've learned in our childhood. We've been hearing all this since our childhood, and somehow it helps us rediscover what we've learned. So let's take a quick look into what these concepts are. So what I wanted to say was, in The Nun, for those of you who have watched the film, you'll know, we find this concept of Valak, the devil, and he's named as Valak the Defiler. Okay, Valak the Defiler, the word defiler in the literary sense would mean to make something impure. To defile something, which means to make something impure. But if any of you have read the Lord of the Rings, we find there the same word referred to this person called Azog, who was a white orc, and he's called Azog the Defiler. Now, how can we match these two people, these two entities, I would like to say? One is Azog the Defiler and the other Valak the Defiler. Azog the Defiler, we find him an orc riding on a white orc and killing dwarves. But here we find Valak the Defiler making everything around the church, around the Abbey of St. Carta, impure. In fact, that evil spreads to the nearby village, so much that we find people there committing suicide. The nun in the church, she commits suicide because she is influenced, or rather she is forced to do so by Valak.
Moria had been taken by legions of orcs, led by the most vile of all their race, Azog, the Defiler.
We find Father Burke and Sister Irene entering the church compound to look into the matter, to look into why the last nun had committed suicide, and they meet the abbess, or someone who they thought was the abbess, and she was informed, and she informs them rather, that they should not have buried the nun who had committed suicide, since in Christianity we find that suicide is an unholy deed. So it's a person who commits suicide is not supposed to be buried. So they are questioned why they had buried the nun. But later, towards the end, we realize how her burial is justified, because like Constantine had given up his life, he had committed suicide just to save the world, to prevent the son of Satan from conquering the world. We find the nun had done the same. So, towards the end, we find that her burial is justified because she had sacrificed herself for the sake of the world.
I'm about to commit.
So, like I was comparing these two entities, Azog the Defiler and Valak the Defiler, and comparing them, I also realized that in the film Constantine, or Constantine, or whichever way it's pronounced, there is this concept of sacrificing one's life for the good of others. So we realize towards the end of the film that the nuns' sacrifice had in fact prevented the grounds of the church and the nearby areas from becoming completely evil. The grounds were indeed impure, but her prayer, her sacrifice before she died had kept the grounds holy to some extent. Another one that I noticed was the term, or the phrase rather, Mary points the way. Mary points the way would of course refer to Mother Mary, and from our childhood, we've always heard that whenever you're in trouble, pray to God and He'll show you the way. Similarly, in the film, I realized that the way to save humanity from the evil that Valak had introduced to our world was to use or to put to use the blood of Christ that had been kept in the glass vessel. And where it was kept was known to none. So how would you know was through prayers. As far as we knew, it was through prayers. But when we see that the idol of Mother Mary points towards a certain direction and the vessel with the blood of Christ is kept there, we realize that indeed God shows us the way towards the truth, towards what is correct.
The blood of Christ.
So for those who have watched the film, all of you will be able to relate with what I've said right now. But for those who haven't watched the film, I would request all of you to watch all these films, and including The Lord of the Rings and Constantine, because it really helps us rediscover what we have learned throughout our childhood. So that's it, and now I would really request all of you to please like and subscribe my channel, and good day.